Hi, this is Jack.
And I'm Karen.
And you are RV Cruising with the Kings. We just returned from Woolly Hollow State Park, just north of Conway, Arkansas. And we had a great time. We had one little incident, and we'll tell you about that shortly. Well, like I said, Woolly Hollow is just north of Conway, Arkansas, which is in central Arkansas. And Conway is about 20 minutes north of Little Rock. Mm-hmm. And let you tell them a little bit about the area, Karen.
It's located on a 40-acre lake, which is Lake Bennett. It was built back in the 1930s. And with that lake, it offers the opportunity to fish, boat. If you want to swim, there's swimming. There's also a launching ramp for canoes, kayaks, pedal boats, and fishing boats.
Yeah, we had a good time there. It was a little cold when we went there, and so we didn't do any kayaking or paddle boating. We did go on a little hike. All right, our happy hiker. Oh, baby.
Yes, love it. Beautiful day, nice breeze, probably 50 degrees, maybe 55 degrees, maybe.
Yeah, something like that's nice out.
Just very, very nice, extremely quiet. Just a great day to hike.
Luckily, we were able to see a bald eagle while we were there. I guess you located him up in the tree, and she goes, or she saw him flying. She goes, "What is that?" And I said, I recognized it immediately as a bald eagle. And so it landed in a tree across the lake. So we got a little bit of footage on that. It was pretty interesting. And we watched him until he decided to fly off somewhere else. I guess he thought I was intruding on his territory, walking down towards the lake a little bit, I think. So, but that was a great sight, and I'm glad we were able to do that and have that opportunity to see him. There's lots of, like I've said many, many times, there's the wildlife in Arkansas is unequal to anywhere that you want to go in the United States. It is, it's amazing here what we have.
There's also a 1882 homestead on site that we got to see. That was one room homestead.
Yep, yeah, that was interesting too. It actually was moved from just down the road and put here in the park. But it was one of the original homesteads, if not the original homestead in that area. It has a simulated well, not really well, just to show the little well house here, what it would have looked like at the time. And but yeah, it was great. It's right next to a trail, real close to the ranger station. So it's easy to find. You don't have to go searching it out. So it's right there. And it was, I think we started our hike that day from that location.
We did. There's 3 hiking trails actually there, and mountain biking trails too, if you're into that.
Yeah, we took one of the shorter walks that day. I mean, for the trip, that was one of our shorter little hikes in there. But it was pretty and it was interesting. In the area, it was a little hilly, so that added to it. not so much for Karen, but for me. So it was, but we had a great time.
All in all, it's a nice, clean camp. It was very quiet. There's 30 AAA sites, 10 tent sites, and there's a bathhouse located there as well.
Yeah, so it's got everything you need when you go there. I'll put a little clip in there. We'll have it showing right here. But we had one little incident where somebody just decided to roll into and locate onto a site that we had reserved. Well, we just rolled into Woolly Hollow State Park here in outside of Greenbrier, Arkansas, and right off the bat, there's somebody parked in our spot. So I figured they're just hadn't checked out yet because they have a late checkout. Well, I go down there and ask them if they're getting ready to pull out, and she goes, "Well, no, we just pulled in here, and they told us we could park here this morning." And I said, "Well, I've had a reservation for a week on this particular site, and I don't want to go pull into another site and mess somebody else up, and it just starts that rolling stone down the hill." So I said, "Well, let me go drive around first look." And I looked. There was one site that said it was available, but it might be available today, but it wouldn't be available tomorrow. So we decided to come back and ask them to move. And of course, they pretty much told us to take a hike. Well, Karen's a little feisty when it comes to these things. Decided we're not going to let them bully us. So we find the park ranger station is actually closed here today. And so we called another state park in the state, and they made contact with the ranger on duty and sent him down here. So now we're waiting for him to get back from the office and on his computer and see what's going to happen. And I wouldn't be totally adverse to going to a different site other than the principle of the thing. But, and that's mainly just because they're being buttheads.
And it's on the water.
Yeah, and this particular site's on the water. And one of the main reasons why that's the site we wanted when we reserved it. So, people are pretty gutsy sometimes. So we'll, rude, exactly. So I know other people have experienced such things, but we'll let you know how it turned out here after a while. Well, we won.
Don't mess with me.
The ranger confirmed our reservations, and we proved them to be liars because they said they had reservations, which they gave us two stories. When I came earlier, they said, "Oh yeah, the guy this morning said we could park here, no problem." And then when we came back later, they said, "Yo, yeah, we got reservations." So they were proven to be liars, and they are moving. So we'll be moving in to their spot here shortly.
Our spot. It's our spot.
Our spot. Whose spot is it, baby?
It's our spot, number 2.
So, and then it's our spot until we leave in 3 or 4 days.
So if you ever get confronted, just keep calling and keep persevering.
That's right. She almost said ugly word, I think.
No, I was trying. I got twisted on persevering. I don't say ugly words.
Yeah, she really doesn't. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
And of course, they didn't want to relinquish it, just wanting us to go find another site. Well, that means I go into some other site, and then the next morning somebody comes rolling in and asks Karen and I to move. Well,
and it was a site right on the water. That's why we had chosen that particular site.
Yeah, and it was big enough too, because not every site out there is big enough to handle the trailer size that we have. So we pretty much needed a big site, and
long story short, the ranger came and rescued us.
Yeah,
and they had to move.
Yeah, he was a nice young guy.
He was I think he was a little nervous, but he handled it
very
professionally, and it all ended up.
Yeah, it was
great.
Probably his first one-on-one face-off with somebody at the site, because he had just finished his apprenticeship at one of the state parks in, where was it? Where did he say he was? I agree. But anyway, it was another state
Which
park,
one it was.
and where he did his internship, and so he had just moved there. So he was a nice young man. Yeah, glad we got a chance to meet him, and he really made our and all the rangers there made our experience very good at the campsite. So
It was a great trip.
it was a really good trip. It was a short trip, but it was a good trip, and I would highly recommend Woolly Hollow State Park here in Arkansas. It's actually in Greenbrier, which is just north of Conway. Go out, nice, peaceful, quiet. Can't go wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. We had a good time.
I had a great time. I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, and we will soon.
Say that we need to be sure and pray for one another, especially during these trying times, and live life to the fullest and make a difference along the way.
I have to agree with that. And I'd like to dedicate this particular trip to a good friend of ours that just passed away with COVID. And everybody be safe out there.
Bye.
See you, Jerry.